Hear the extraordinary tale of the Lily of the Mohawks, a young woman who, despite immense suffering and the weight of two worlds, chose the solitary path of the Catholic faith. She is the beloved Saint Kateri Tekakwitha, a beacon of purity from the indigenous lands of North America. Welcome to the Cross Remains, the sanctuary where we explore the eternal truths of the faith and the lives that illuminate God's grace. My name is Michael, and our focus today is on Saint Kateri Tekakwitha, the first Native American woman declared a saint by the Catholic Church. Her journey from the Mohawk village of Ossernanon to the silent communion of the Spirit is a testament to the enduring power of His love. This is a story of steadfastness, even when faced with persecution and cultural conflict. Kateri was born around 1656 in what is now upstate New York. Her name, Tekakwitha, meant she who bumps into things, possibly due to her impaired vision. Her mother was a Christian Algonquin, and her father, a notable Mohawk chief. This mixed heritage placed her directly on the fault line between the ancient ways of her people and the new world brought by European missionaries. The year 1660 brought a devastating smallpox epidemic to her village. The relentless disease claimed the lives of both her father and her Christian mother, leaving young Kateri orphaned. More tragically, the illness left her with scars, disfiguring her face and severely weakening her eyesight, causing her to constantly squint, a constant physical reminder of her early loss. Kateri was taken in by her uncle, a powerful clan chief who was fiercely opposed to the fledgling Christian missions. She was immediately immersed in the traditional life of the Mohawks, but the memory of her Christian mother's prayers and teachings, the seeds of faith, remained quietly planted within her young heart. Even as a child, she exhibited a profound, almost innate purity. She possessed a quiet, reserved disposition, shunning the usual games and frivolous pursuits of her peers. She became known for her deep sense of modesty and an intense focus on her chores, preferring solitude to socializing. The arrival of the Jesuit missionaries in the region proved to be the turning point in her life. Though initially resistant due to her uncle's influence, Kateri was drawn to their message. She would secretly listen to their sermons and observe their rituals, recognizing in their devotion a truth she could not ignore. When she was 18, Father Jacques de Lamberville, a compassionate Jesuit, visited her village. Kateri, overcoming her shyness and fear of her uncle's anger, found the courage to speak with him, confessing her desire to learn more about the faith her mother had cherished. On Easter Sunday in 1676, at the age of 20, Tekakwitha was finally baptized by Father Lamberville and given the name Kateri, the Mohawk equivalent of Catherine. This day marked her public commitment to Christ, but also the beginning of her most intense trials. Her conversion was met with fierce opposition from her family and her entire village. They ridiculed her, mocked her new commitment, and subjected her to constant domestic persecution, forcing her to work even on Sundays to prevent her from attending Mass. She stood firm, even when starved for refusing to marry the man chosen for her. Saint Kateri recognized the gravity of her vow of chastity. She yearned for a life dedicated solely to Jesus Christ, a path almost unheard of for a young woman in her culture. Her resistance to marriage was seen as a defiance of tradition, further isolating her. The persecution intensified to the point where her life was in danger. She was sometimes even pelted with stones. Realizing she could not practice her faith freely, she made the courageous, life-altering decision to flee her ancestral home. In 1677, Kateri embarked on a dangerous 200-mile journey through the wilderness, guided only by two Christian friends. She sought refuge at the Catholic mission of Kanawake, a praying village near Montreal, Quebec, where the Jesuit community offered her the freedom to live her faith. Arriving in Kahnawake brought her an immediate sense of peace. For the first time, she was able to fully devote herself to the Christian life, attending Mass daily, receiving the sacraments, and immersing herself in prayer and penance with profound fervor. This new chapter allowed her to deepen her understanding of the teachings of Christ. Her simple life was marked by extreme piety. She often prayed for hours, keeping vigil late into the night. Her focus became entirely on God and her spiritual growth. On the Feast of the Annunciation in 1679, Kateri made a private vow of perpetual chastity, a formal dedication of her entire being to Christ. She declared, "I am no longer my own. I have given myself entirely to Jesus Christ." This was a radical, powerful act of devotion. She lived a life of rigorous, self-imposed penance, practicing severe fasting and mortification in imitation of the great saints she read about. This devotion, while inspiring, concerned the mission priests, who gently guided her toward moderation. Her spiritual life was often nourished by the parables of Jesus, particularly those emphasizing humility and quiet faith, such as the parable of the mustard seed. She understood that great faith often starts with small, often unseen, acts of love and obedience. Kateri dedicated herself to works of charity, caring for the elderly and the sick in the village. Her quiet actions of service spoke volumes, demonstrating that true faith must always be manifested through works of mercy, following the very example set by Christ. Her spiritual influence began to spread naturally. Many came to her seeking guidance and prayer. Even without intending to, her quiet, devout life became a powerful, living sermon for the entire community of Kahnawake, teaching them the path to true holiness. In the last years of her life, she devoted herself entirely to prayer, penance, and contemplation. Her health, already compromised by smallpox, began to fail. Her frail body struggled, but her spirit remained bright and focused entirely on her heavenly bridegroom. Throughout her illness, she retained her characteristic humility and serene composure. She did not complain, but rather accepted her suffering as a way of uniting herself more closely to the passion of Jesus Christ. Truly embracing the symbol of the cross remains. On April 17, 1680, at the age of only 24, Saint Kateri Tekakwitha passed away in Kahnawake. Her last words, whispered in the Iroquois tongue, were simply, "Jesus, I love you." Immediately after her death, a miraculous event occurred. The scars that had disfigured her face since the smallpox epidemic suddenly vanished, and her face became radiantly beautiful. This transformation was witnessed by the priests and her companions, signaling her purity and sanctity. The fame of her sanctity spread quickly across North America, and her tomb became a site of pilgrimage. Numerous miracles were attributed to her intercession, testifying to her powerful presence in the heavenly court. Her process for canonization began, culminating in her beatification by Pope John Paul II in 1980, and her eventual canonization by Pope Benedict XVI on October 21, 2012. She is now the patron saint of environment and ecology, indigenous peoples, and purity. Saint Kateri Tekakwitha stands as a magnificent example of faith overcoming cultural barriers and personal suffering. Her life teaches us the profound value of piety, the courage to choose Christ over comfort, and the lasting reward of perpetual purity and devotion. In a world that often demands compromise, can you, like Kateri, choose absolute devotion? What part of your life are you willing to sacrifice to deepen your Catholic prayer and connection with Jesus Christ? Her example shows that a quiet, faithful heart is a powerful force for God. May the life of the Lily of the Mohawks inspire your own journey toward holiness. Thank you for joining us on The Cross Remains, because His love endures forever. If this story of Saint Kateri brought you peace, please like this video, share it with a friend, and subscribe to our channel for more inspirational stories from the Catholic faith. Don't forget to ring the bell icon to be notified of our next video.